never doubt that a small group of committed, thoughtful citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. Hello, everyone. This is Harshita Agrawal from Alumni Relations Cell, Shivaji College. We at Alumni Relations Cell aim to develop a robust network of alumni from various industries and parts of the world. Mentorship and guidance from alums is what we wish to extend to the new students. Greetings from Alumni Relations Cell, Shivaji College. The ARC feels pleased to put forward a webinar series with alumni of our college, Unraveling COVID-19. What's next? In every session, an accomplished alumnus of our college will talk about their experience of the pandemic and how they see the future face of the world. And today, we have with us Miss Shagun Krishnan. She is a graduate in economics from Shivaji College, class of 1996, and is currently working as the Director of Research at Numerator. With a career span of over 20 years, she has multiple publications to her credit, published in premier journals including Review of Developmental Economics and European Journal of Developmental Research. Today, she'll be talking about the impact of the pandemic on consumption and production and market response in the global and Indian context. This is the culmination of the vision of our principal, Dr. Shiv Kumar Sachdev, our convener, Dr. Darshan Rawat, and our president, Nishtha Sethi. It is the ARC team that has made this possible. Now, without taking more time, I would like to hand over to Shagun ma'am. Welcome, ma'am.
Hi, Tarishka, how are you?
I'm fine, ma'am.
I
Harshita here.
am going to start this presentation. However, I would really be happy if somebody has any questions. Either you can raise through chat or be forward in asking them upfront, or or we can take them in the end of the session. So everything is okay in whichever way you guys want to do that.
If
Yeah.
anyone
So,
uh,
yeah.
If
Go
anyone
ahead,
has
Tarishka. Sorry.
questions, they can put in the chat box. There will be Q&A session after the presentation.
Thank you so much,
Yes, ma'am.
Tanishka. You saved my life.
Ah,
Okay. So, and so this is actually a very, I'm feeling very surreal because I have not gone to Shivaji College for like almost maybe 22 years. I had gone just after 2 years after I finished my graduation from Shivaji, which was in the year of 1996. And a lot have changed from that year till date. Let me just walk you through, guys, about what I am and what I have done so far. So it's about me. You all know my name. My name is Shagun Krishnan. I am a very fun-loving person. Uh, there is this picture of my daughter. If you guys can see my cursor, we every year in Gujarat. So I'm right now located in Vadodara, which is one of the uh, upcoming city in Gujarat. And Prime Minister Modi had nominated himself when the year he had become prime minister from this city only. So we definitely had some contribution there. Um, so every year during Navratri, we have this 9 days Garba, which is what is called, and my daughter and I do go every year religiously for 9 days. We dance for 4 hours, so it is total fun. And it is actually such famous that it is in the Guinness Book of Records that it, about 1 lakh people gather in a day to celebrate this festival in the same ground. I love to travel. Um, I love eating food a lot. So wherever I go, I try various cuisines, and I have tried quite a few, and I'm really proud of that. Uh, I also have pets, as you can see. On the right is Milo, and you would be hearing their voice while I do this webinar because you really cannot stop them if they see somebody around. Uh, so this is about my personal life. Uh, in terms of my career, so I after and this is something like I would say that my story can you can relate, like anyone can relate, rather those who want to achieve something in life and are late starters. So when I went to Shivaji College, I got my admission in simple BA pass course, did economics and history from there. But that's where I got my awakening. When I uh, started studying economics, I really liked it, and teachers were really good. So my history teacher actually, and I'm sorry I don't remember his name because those days it was hard to get connected with people through social media. Um, I would be like standing at the gate so that he doesn't miss our class. So that was so much fun, and he would be like, "I know Shagun will be around if I don't show up to the class." And so was our economics teacher. He was so good, and I wanted to come back and meet him someday after I got my job. But I guess as life goes on, we tend to forget the most important things, uh, which were very important at that particular stage. So I couldn't meet him. I just hope that wherever he is, he's doing good. Um, so, uh, so after doing that, I did the entrance exam for Jamia, and I cleared it, and then went did masters in economics and took specialization in the applied economics. Believe it or not, a BA Basco student with what studied with BA honor students, and I was the topper in the university, the first class. So things happen if you really want them to happen, and they did happen to me. I got my first job in an institute called ICRIAR, which is the Indian Council for Research on International Economic Reforms. When I had joined there, it was led by Dr. Isha Jajaluwalia, who is wife of Montek Singh Ahluwalia. I don't know how many people know about them, but there are some great names in economics if you are from economics background. I worked there as a research assistant, and I really enjoyed doing that academic research work. So I wanted to continue doing that. From there, I even did teaching for a year in the Alumni College, if you know so. Um, and then I got married, so I had to move out of Delhi. Otherwise, I would have still been there. When I moved out from Delhi, I got the opportunity to work with India Development Foundation, which is actually Gurgaon-based research think tank led by Subhashis Gangopadhyay. Again, a very good economist. You must be seeing him on the panels after budget or exam policies and all. He's quite famous by work as well as by visibility. So I worked with him for about 6 years, and I learned a lot there. I can say that whatever I am, my foundation actually started happening over there when I started working with him. And the end result was that I had 3 international publications with him and one more person who worked with us on those projects, which is again a huge achievement because a lot of people think of doing that. And for me, it just happened naturally while we were working on a project. And we had definitely spent a lot of time on that project, pretty much almost 2 years. But when we go back and look at it, you feel proud. So did I. Uh, I couldn't work with them for very long because I moved to, my husband moved to Gujarat after that, and I had to be here. So, Numerator is where I'm working right now, and they had hired me 9 years back when they were trying to set up the analytics division in India. And from that, like I was, like, you can say, the first person they hired. And today I have a team of about 30 people working in the analytics department. We have done great jobs there. We do a lot of things. So about Numerator, I really love any work I do. And I think it is very important because if you guys don't love what you're doing, you won't be able to survive or sustain it for a very long time. So in Numerator, we call it as a 360-degree uh, information company on any FMCG product. So when we say 360 degree, we mean that when a product is launched, and this is an American company, so we have clients from US and Canada, and we work on US and Canada data primarily. We do have offices in Australia as well and UK, but they are like pretty new, so we are based there. And we do have some clients in Australia right now, but not much in UK. So what we do is assume that it's a Colgate ad. So we will have that ad, which has, in India, it mostly happen in print, like newspapers. But US advertising structure is very, very formal and organized. So you will get weekly, you would have seen Big Bazaar give sometimes those booklets kind of thing. And sometimes you do get it for Spencer also if you have a membership. So that is the kind, and maybe 10 times more. Like they have 30 pages in there, and they do that on weekly basis. So we capture like 400 retailers in there in US across the country, and we have a huge facility in Jamaica where we do the data entry using that. So that's one side of the business. The other side is we also cover all medias, whether it's on Facebook, Twitter, um, website, you name it, and we have it. Then, so this is basically the product is launched, how they are launching it, what promotions they are doing. But then we also want to know that what people are buying. So we also have a panel of 4 lakh people in US where they share their receipt history. So uh, what I mean by receipt history means that I go and buy something. Let's say I go to Spencer, so I'll get a bill. I'll take a picture of that bill and I will upload in the app which we ask them to download. So of course there are some incentives given to them, and we have 2 different apps. One for the senior group people, like who believe in donations. So when they upload the receipt, we make donation on their behalf. And youngsters like you, so it's more like the spinning wheel kind of a scenario where you make money and you spin the wheel or you get a voucher, something like that. So these 2 apps are used. Um, these apps also have the demographics of those people who are sharing their information. So basically, if I am the member of it, so my company would know that I have got dogs, I love to run, I'm a foodie, how much I earn, what is my background, I'm an Asian, and those things. And what is my annual income? Because this is the basic information we ask them to fill. And that helps us basically to narrow down on those people if we want to go back and ask something to them. So now that we have seen the promotions of Colgate, but now we want to see whether people are buying it or not. So we get that information using those receipts because 4 lakhs is a very good size. for to represent a country, and it's a widely spread sample. So this is what we do, and the work is very interesting. Every day we get to see something or the other. It's fun. Not a single day goes without something or the the other fun happening. And I have a great team, so we work and we have more fun. In fact, in this 21-kilometer marathon we did this January, and this kid is in my team. So he's half of my age, but we both did it together. So that is amazing. Okay, enough about myself. Let's move to what we are here for. So this is about COVID, and let's get started. So I'm sure that everyone is scared and thinking about what's happening. So just a brief about, and I know that you all know about these things, that it started in China in November, and it has already infected 25 lakh people and has killed 1,70,000. We are all worried that what's going to happen, and because this is a virus and it's going to keep coming back. So the only solution to fight is like to create an antivirus dose for this. Uh, so there are 79 projects which are happening worldwide, and yeah, 79 is pretty huge. I would say that. Uh, so of those, so so John Hopkins has already started doing investigations in that, and it's really going really well at the current scenario, what it is. Then I just hope you're not seeing my office messages coming in here. Uh, so there are 5 which are actually has gone into the stages of testing. So we just have good news, and I hope that we should get something by the early 2021. Till then, we have to keep fighting. So this is today's number. I keep a track of it is because for 2 reasons, because I want to know where we are and how far we are going to be locked down, and but also because I'm part of the management team here, and we have to run office, and I have to make sure that how fast we can go back. So this is the reason I've put in Vadodara here, not that it's a huge number, is because I stay here and it's close to my heart. It's a great city, guys. You should come in here. And in fact, if you guys have interest in working with the moderator, let me know. When we have opening, well, definitely keep you posted. So now, where does, at an economy point of view, where do we stand today? We are definitely going through a lot of problems, especially in sectors like automobile. And why would I say automobile is because it has a high dependency on China. 18% of the automobile components actually come from China right now, and and that is for the 4-wheeler side of the business. But when we look at the 2-wheeler segment, in fact, more than 4/5 of the imported components are coming from China. So this sector is definitely going to get hugely impacted even after we are back to normalcy, because we are not sure that how the relationship with China would be, and or availability of raw material as well. When we look at the hospitality sector and transport, so I would say the transport will recover easily once we are back in business, but a lot of people would still fear like taking Uber when rides, the shared Uber rides and all, because of the fear of transmission, because you never know if it is 100% gone or not. And hospitality sector is because no one is traveling, and restaurants are not doing business. And I'll come back to that later because that is an industry which is really suffering a lot right now. When you talk about the banking sector, and the reason bringing it here is because we hardly realize that banking are going to be at a huge risk. Is because first of all that there'll be the loans they have given it to MSME, like medium, small enterprises and small enterprises. They will have a huge impact of COVID because these are very small units and may not be able to take the blow which has come up because of COVID. So that is going to be a very difficult scenarios for our banking sector in coming months, and there'll be a lot of defaulters in terms of loan as well because as that unemployment rate is going higher by the day, uh, people cannot live on the savings, and if they don't even have to run their household, how are they going to go back and get the repay the loans? So yes, so it's going to be a tough year ahead for us, not only this but the coming year as well. Uh, so exports, when we talk about that, is because we right now we are only focusing on that, okay, uh, this is happening, that is happening, but as a larger picture, India's export, most of the 40% of the export actually goes to Europe and US. And given the scenario where they are right now, I really doubt that we will be able to export those things to them in near future or not. So again, it's because everything is all depending on demand and supply theory, the basic principle of economics. And if there is no demand, then we won't be able to get to those things. And you will understand why I am saying that as we will go through the presentation, because so I was asked to present mostly about the behavior of what is the what are we consuming and what are we going to produce. So I have focused the rest of the presentation based on what is the behavior aspect of Indians, and this is based on a survey from Kantar, which is a market research company, and they had conducted this survey during 21st of March to 22nd of March 2020, and have covered about 1,100 respondents across 19 cities and 15 states. So pretty much covering the whole of India over there. So I've picked up some few highlights from there that, and I think each one of us would be able to associate with it, with what where we are right now. So yeah. So when they asked, and so this is actually coming from the webinar of Kantar, when they asked across the world some people that where do you think will you be able to recover from this pandemic? And India was quite optimistic with the 54 ranking, like 54% people being showing positivity towards the future, and it's way higher than what people in US or UK think about it. And given the scenario that we are still a developing country and US and UK are far more superior in terms of market structure or funding, but we are very optimistic people, and I'm really proud that we really said that um, in those findings. So, so Kantar also when they did this, as I said, that they did the survey across in India also. So the finding from India was, and I am not I don't know the sample size of the other countries, but I'm sure that they must have kept it around the same when they're comparing those numbers. So when they asked if the stalking of the situation like um, get worse, so am I stalking more or less? And India had the highest. So 50%, 51% of people said that we are stocking much more than what we require. So I would say that, and it's a very good strategy. Like, hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. And that's what the behavior pattern of Indian customers are showing here. That we know that we are going to get out of it. Everything is going to get back to normalcy, but still, it's better to be wise. And my house is definitely jam packed with grocery, and my husband has bought so much that I think the rest of the year I don't have to really buy anything other than vegetables. So I'm hoping or assuming that this might be the scenario in most of the households today. Moving forward, so now, so they also asked what are the basic things you're going to buy more and buy less. Interestingly, that everyone is buying more of soaps and hand wash and sanitizers, which is pretty much not an India culture. Like I think even in my house, we didn't have a sanitizer next to the door before this. My daughter used to carry one for her school because they had asked for it. But apart from that, we never used sanitizers. We always believed in washing hands. Um, so 67% people have said that they're buying more of that, which is really good. I would say that because which means that we are becoming aware of things we have to do, and since this is across all the India, they have also covered metro as well as two-tier cities. So this is good news. Um, but to my surprise, 12% people said only 12% people said that they are um, buying more of alcohol and whiskey and rum. I'm sure they must be from Punjab region because that's where people believe in live life king size. But overall, the sentiment is like that you buy what is required rather than buying something which is more of a luxury in the given scenario. The other interesting thing is that the online scenario is really picking up in our country. How many of us knew that the big basket is there and delivering in small cities also, or Grofers or Amazon Pantry? Like I buy a lot from Amazon, but I never went for grocery. Like why should I do that? I can go and buy it from DMart. Or why should I buy vegetables from Big Basket when I can pick and select myself from the vegetable seller who comes right at my doorstep? But with the fear of being in touch with outsiders, um, most of the households are moving towards online and apps. And in fact, I you won't believe that we had a video coming from the local police 2 days back saying that in our city especially, that most of the transmission is actually happening through vegetable vendors because currently there was a lady who was asked to stay quarantine and she did not listen. They had taken her samples and she's a vegetable vendor and she walked 5 kilometers and had touched people from 70 households and she turned out to be positive. So, so it's really scary. Scary. Like you really don't want to be in uh, contact with somebody. Not that it's a stigma or something like that, but it's for your own security. Because this disease is not something that if I get it, I only get it. No, if I get it, my whole household will get it, and you never know, even my neighborhood would. So moving to online apps makes a very sensible choice given the scenario. Okay, so now we don't plan to invest, is what they asked. So what are the things that you might have had and you don't want to do them now because of the COVID. And I think we Indians still consider travel as a luxury because it's mostly just for pleasure and you don't get anything in return other than you being happy for a week or 10 days. So 77% of them responded that they're not going to take any vacation this year for sure. Automobile is also a luxury for a lot of people. Uh, and some people who especially who like to change their vehicle maybe every 4 years or 5 years. So 64% again, as you see that they don't want to buy automobiles this year. And so is a similar scenario as with the apparel, because I think we are moving towards like living a basic life where we just take what is required and not go beyond something because there's a huge drop in cosmetics and apparel sales. In fact, it has come to the level that people are worried that what's going to happen to these industries because there is a huge uh, drop there. There's a study which was done by Nelson India, and they feel that uh, because of the COVID, people really don't want to go extravagant on cosmetics, home decor, or personal grooming things. Uh, because these things are more of a luxury than a necessity. And it could be that they might also spend less on alcohol and tobacco. So if we look into those things, uh, definitely uh, we are playing safe here. Um, and surprisingly, because I always thought that real estate is something as a very secured investment sector, because my mother used to tell me that if you have money, why don't you invest? Why don't you buy a house? I'm like, okay, fine, I will do it. I just want to have some fun. But she would be like, keep on insisting because this is how it comes. This is how we see. Like we are not the people who would be like going and investing in share markets. Trust me, I have a lot of money right now in share markets, which has no value thanks to COVID. So, um, so I did invest in real estate as per my mother's advice, and I have a house in Vadodara now. But keeping apart, we are changing as customers because buying real estate is a huge uh, I won't say a risk, but it's more of about it's a long-term investment. It is not that like you just give it and you'll be done by one day. You'll have to have a loan. You'll have to pay the EMI. So it's a very long-term commitment, and maybe we really are not in a position to take that right now. So definitely, a real estate sector is going to get a burnt due to COVID, as other sectors are. But there is some good news, I guess. So what COVID has done is that it has made us wiser. Um, when 46% said that they will not invest in insurance, which means the other 54 did say that they will. So, and they have asked the question like this. So that's why I'm giving you the answers in the same tone. Do not think that why I have not put 54% uh, here. So when 56% are saying that they'll invest in insurance, which means that they, after seeing this kind of pandemic, which has doesn't happen, like the last time it happened was 100 years ago in 1800 century, 1805 or something. So and it had lasted almost for a year. So now so this definitely creates insecurities in the mind, and with the end result is that they would be investing a lot in insurance just to keep their family safe, and also they want to invest in some investing schemes or as well, maybe mutual funds or uh, FDs or whatever it is, a more secured way of investment. Um, I also read in the newspaper that people are investing in gold, and gold price is actually is going up, where share market is going down right now. So people feel that it brings you stability, and the way it's responding to the crisis, so they feel more comfortable and confident in terms of with, buying gold and not investing in other things. Moving forward, so uh, so these are like this is pretty much a summary of India customer thing, like what we are right now, where consumer is going, and how sectors are behaving. So as I said that uh, restaurants and home deliveries are gone down because of the lockdown, and also for obvious hygiene reasons. I think you must have heard, it was last week, I guess, about the case of the pizza delivery boy from Domino's who had delivered to, I think, 57 houses, or has might have infected that many people, or something like that, because he was positive. So, uh, but yeah, if not sure if you are familiar with how this whole industry of restaurants or takeaway works. So most of the restaurants, even if they are quite plush, um, the they are on rental property. Nobody buys a shop or area and then develops it, because that's a huge investment to take on, already not knowing the risk of whether it's going to work or not. So 90% of the restaurants, and this is my number, do not go. So I'm making this assumption here, and I'm sorry for that. Uh, are on the rental properties. So, few days back, there was a news from National Restaurant Association of India saying that they have like 5 lakh members, and they're worried that they might be losing about 80,000 crore business in 2020. And that's a huge number. Um, we don't realize it, that it's just that we are not ordering our pizzas or waffles or, pastas from online deliveries, but it's definitely, or going to restaurants, but it's making a huge impact, because they are not, because of the cash flow crunch, they are not able to pay rent. And many of them are saying that they won't be able to sustain if it goes for around a month. About 20% of restaurants who are like, you can say, an organized restaurant kind of chains, who are located are in the malls or in commercial areas like Jumpers or Trump Place, uh, or the Saket Mall, those places. So they have not only the rental on them, but they also have the common area maintenance charges. So that's really putting too much load for them. Like, it's an extra burden to take on. Uh, there are some good news for people. Like, I think Loda Group had come out and said that they are willing to uh, waive off the rentals for some time. But I guess not everybody has that kind of support coming from the owner of those malls. So it's a very tough situation out there. Similarly, when we talk about textiles and cosmetics, uh, I think I told you earlier that, so now we see that people are not really buying, as we saw the behavior of them. They are only buying basic things. And in fact, there was another study which was done by McKinsey, and it revealed that people are really there's a negative growth right now in the cosmetics business, and so is the case with textiles too. Definitely not a good news to for us to hear that. And so the other problem with apparel owners is that these are the because we are working from home, so the textiles industry is pretty much shut because of the you can work from home like I do. I'm lucky, I would say that, but not every industry can afford to do that. So because of the manpower, they are not able to even produce basic things. And also, there is a behavioral change. Like I'm at home, so why should I be buying an expensive top or a dress to wear where no one is going to, see? Because we go to office, we are more formal. And right now, I'm sitting in my house in my pajamas and I'm giving this presentation. So, so this shift from treating apparel as a luxury or office wear to more like homeware kind of stuff. That is a strategy the apparel industry hasn't done as yet. So that's why when even if you're trying and looking at online, you won't see much options for you when it comes to comfort wear. So if if the industry can do that fast, maybe there might be some growth. But again, the other issue is also that uh, small houses like these export houses and all that stuff, they're pretty much shutting down their business because of no demand and high cost of raw material, which is coming from was coming from China, and now they're sourcing the most reliable source is only Bangladesh. But again, because of the lockdown and border sealed, they're not getting much. Buying house anyway, I told you about earlier. And so is the scenario with the durable because people are not buying this because they want to change their sofa. It's been 2 years because now they can understand it's not required. It's better I keep that money in account and use it in crisis. But there are some good news. As you can see, the grocery sector is really booming. And if you have been following news, you would have seen that the one person who got richer was the DMart owner, Mr. I forgot his name. I'm sorry. So DMart has done so much business in the last 1 month that his values have increased tremendously. Uh, Sanitizers and disinfectants is because everyone is uh, using it and focusing on it uh, because I'm sure it is quite important for them to be able to have that. In fact, I don't know if you know about the company called Diageo. So they are doing that for free for sure, but they are going to deliver, I think, 3 lakh liter or something about that much amount of uh, hand sanitizers in India. About broadband connections, we all know that we are pretty much on uh, Prime, YouTube, or Netflix half of the day, or otherwise, the guys in my team are playing mostly this. Come on, I see them every day, and that's the most common game which runs PUBG. Yeah, sorry. And in fact, we have a session over here. Like I do it with my team every day, where we play or do some fun activity virtually, obviously, to be able to connect it. So the every second there they will be like, okay, can we have a PUBG competition, which definitely takes a lot of data, and not everyone in the team is interested, so we don't do that. But it it's a switch. People are even the position is coming up with innovative ways to keep the people engaged. staying indoor is not easy. It impacts your psychology of how you think about things and how you respond to it, and especially when it is forced. So you may not be going out if you don't want to, but that's your choice. But right now, it is not a choice. It's a restriction, and it's not easy to take on. So a lot of people are spending quite a lot of time on online, and in fact, the study by McKinsey had said that there is almost 50% increase in video content, especially like YouTube, and people are also going a lot on the live news channels online just to get information that what's happening. And the new habit, which is was not seen earlier, is that a lot of people are reading news online now because they don't want to touch their newspaper. Like I still get the newspaper, but I don't go and pick it up. I'm really scared. And live TV also has picked up. So, and this pattern has been seen more in the tier one and tier two cities as well. And companies are really trying hard to be able to suffice to those connections, the new connections, given the lockdown situation. Um, since we talked about Big Basket, Groupers, and Amazon, so if you go back and search, Big Basket is actually uh, is trying to put funds, so they have generated money to be able to cater to the demand which is coming to them. So earlier, like if you were making a slot on Big Basket, it used to be like next day morning or next day evening. But initially when this lockdown happened, it was taking almost a week, or sometimes we even said that we are not available to a lot of their customers. This was what something a colleague of mine told me because she is heavily dependent on Big Basket all the time. Um, and Amazon is actually also spreading their reach in a lot of cities. Like Amazon was not doing the grocery in Vadodara, but last week I got a message that now we are delivering in your area, so feel free to order grocery. So things are changing so fast for these online retailers, and this is going to stay because uh, if when a behavioral change happens, and if you find that it's a convenient change, people usually don't go back to their old habits. And for that reason, I feel, and it's not my personal opinion as well. The studies are also revealing that many people might continue buying more online and use the online platform moving forward. Okay, so this was India. If you have some questions about India, we can take that now, or I can finish the US part of it and then do it at the end. What do you have to say, Harshita?
Uh, if anyone has any questions, can put into chat box, please. Ma'am, we can take questions afterwards only, if
Okay,
it's
no
okay.
problem. Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
thank you.
So no problem. Thanks. So this is the US scenario, and we have 8 lakh people who are infected right now, and 45,000 people who got killed. I'm really sorry. The highest test has happened in New York, and the reason being, New York is pretty much like Mumbai. It's a very highly dense, populated city, and that is one of the reasons why it has spread so fast in there. Now, so I'm going to present the work we do over here because we have been tracking COVID activities ever since we saw the first wave of COVID happening in US, which was the first wave case appeared in January, and then we started seeing some cases in February. But March is when when they started talking about lockdown and other things. So let me explain you. I'm not sure how many of you know what index is. So index is basically it's a statistical way of calculating something where you assume that let's say that I had made 5,000 as a salary last year, and I will make 5,000 is equal to 100 as a base is what it is called. And now I make uh, 5,100. So it will show that um, the extra uh, percentage, whatever I would have uh, seen increased in my salary as like 110 or 120, depending upon the percentage share. So uh, these numbers over here, when we see that as 100, which means that the thing hasn't changed compared to last year, it's pretty much the same. 110 means that there has been a 10% increase in that activity, and so on. So we are showing you here four things. The one is a sales index. Sales index means what people bought uh, in those weeks. And these are week ending from 5th of January. So week ending means we take the Sunday of that week as let's say today is 23rd. The 25th would be this week, which will have Saturday to Sunday data in there. You can see that this is pretty much is flat or a little bit raised there. But when they start talking about lockdown and the cases start increasing, so there was a rush in spend. People, this is a trip index. Trip index means how many trips did they make. So during the week of 315, there was almost a 25% jump in the trips they were doing this year at the same time as compared to last year. And there was a 40% increase in the sales as compared to what they were buying last year. And these are all FMCG products and nothing else. They're not talking about buying a car. It is simple grocery and home consumable things like detergent and all those things. And this is the household index. This is pretty much traded because we have used the same uh, uh, set of households which we had in our panel. So we wanted to track their history. So we took that group. Some of them were not buying initially, and then eventually some others decided buying. When we look at, so as I told you that we also have the promotional side of the business. And in the promotional fund, if you see, one in the dark green is where you should be focusing on. And so the oral care in the first week, like first week was where you will see that it was an 80% increase in the oral care uh, because I guess we are staying at home and you want to feel fresher. Uh, and the other thing is that fear is always there that it might enter to your mouth, I guess. You end up cleaning it more. Um, apart from that, the household chemicals and laundry also became a key category which was promoted initially. And over the time, as you see that it was more like personal cleaning and yours people were buying, were promoted for people who were working from home and were in lockdown. Um, I will just pass on these, but I'll just want to share something from this one. Uh, Easter is a Sunday which comes after the Good Friday, and it's a big holiday. So despite the lockdown and all the corona situation, retailers over there are still promoting Easter categories, and it did saw a huge jump also as compared to last year. Uh, Now this is about spending, like how much I'm spending. If I'm a manufacturer, I'm a Pepsi, I'm Unilever, or anyone, and I want to put an ad on TV or radio. So this is that data. And if you all see that, if this again is an index. So if it is less than 90 or 100, pretty much it just means there is a loss. It's negative. And if it's more than 100, which means there is some positivity to it. But if you will see that in the mobile section of it, this is where most of the ads are happening, and the reason being is that majority of people are stuck with their phones. Either they're watching live news, TV, or subscription-based things like Netflix, and that's where they are right now promoting with those ads. The categories which are getting money in terms of spend are also they're saying that it could do the testing for respiratory, or PSA, it's a protein test, which also shows how your body immune system is working, and helps protein level content in your body. Then there's a huge increase in the household paper products and shaving category ads, especially on mobile. And again, I guess is because they're just trying to make you feel that even if you're at home, you should still be taking care of your personal stuff. And paper product is because initially when the COVID had hit, there was a shortage of toilet papers, and they had stopped promoting. But I guess they're coming back into the business now, and I'm sure that they do have the uh, uh, stock to be able to sell that more, and that's why they are promoting across all media. The other interesting ad pattern change was education sector, because they really promote or invest money. But in fact, University of Maryland had ads where they talked about that COVID is there, and why don't you like come and join us? And we are already having live sessions and all that stuff. So some interesting stuff here. So this is a survey we have been doing across uh, 1,000 respondents across USA. And what they asked about the concern, it is pretty much like what India has felt, that if my household is going to get infected, or what is the impact is going to be on the economy, and is my job secure? Because I think you all know that unemployment rate is the highest in US right now. So that's pretty much in the back of everyone's mind. Um, Financially, also, so stimulus check. So check is basically the check what we get as like bank check, and that they write it like this. So it's a government money which U.S. government is right now giving it to people, uh, and it's about $1,200 they are giving. So when we asked how many of them they feel that they would be getting it, so 65% were very optimistic of getting that money. And what they're going to do with that is, majority again said that they are going to pay bills, which is basic dire necessity for them right now, because of the unemployment and the struggle which is going on in the US at this stage. We did another survey in the week of 14th, which was last week, and what we found is interesting, that people are actually more in touch with their friends and family than ever, through social media or otherwise. And for staying in connected with their families, they're using Facebook, Insta, Snapchat, and WhatsApp as well. So that's something new, because WhatsApp is pretty Asian culture, and they don't really use so much. But I think, given the scenario where we are, this is a cheaper option than anything else. Um, a lot of people don't even want to see COVID news, and so to avoid seeing those things, they actually either go to YouTube or to TikTok. Interesting. And staying at home is not easy. So, in order to have some inspirational activities, they're using Pinterest. And I'm sure all you youngsters already know about what Pinterest is. So, so this is the gist of like what we got to know from them. Uh, I'm not sure that if you guys have any friend who is American, or if you know their lifestyle. But what I can tell you from my personal experience and from my friends. So I have a friend who has not cooked in last 10 years. She lives in Chicago, and she's like, why should I be cooking? I'm like, what? We Indians cook 4 meals a day, breakfast, lunch, chai, and dinner. What are you talking about? And she's like, no, I just have a microwave. I just buy the food and I heat it up and I eat. So it's a very different culture. And when we saw that 67% people coming back saying that they're cooking or preparing meals, was a very huge surprise to all of us, even in the company, because it definitely shows that this virus is changing the behavioral pattern in people across the globe, like not only in India but in US also, and in a big way. And when we also ask them that of these things, what activities you are doing which you were not doing earlier, how many of those are you determined to keep continuing after this pandemic ends? And 47% of them said that they are going to continue cooking and preparing meals even after pandemic. So again, it's a huge positive response on a behavioral change. Um, so so they are buying also a lot, if you will see that, because 67% people also said that they are buying more grocery than they earlier used to, and they are also snacking all the time. Well, that's pretty much like my daughter also. She's eating all whole day. I have to really cook 4 meals in the morning itself. Very funny though. So coming towards the end, so we one thing we had asked across all our surveys to our respondents was, is this impacting your behavior? So when the initial week was there, they were like, no, it only 33% came back saying that we do have that. But when we started moving towards the third week, it was more than 80% across all weeks ever since. It is definitely making a huge change in the American consumer behavior as well. I'm just ending my presentation here. Thank you guys um, for time and letting me present this. I do not see any questions in the chat. So, Tanishka or Harshita, if any one of you have any questions, please feel free to ask me.
Yes, ma'am, we have some questions from the audience.
Yeah, okay.
I would like to unmute Ayush. Ayush, please
Mm-hmm.
ask your question.
Will foreign investment increase in India after this pandemic is over? Because I have seen many news that many foreign companies are coming in India to invest.
Oh, yes, that's true. So I think foreign investment as such should, well, there'll be a slowdown, but it's not going to get so much affected. In fact, I think there's a Korean company which is investing in Bangalore. They're starting a plant there. Facebook is investing in Geo. They've bought the 10% share. So I won't say that the foreign investment is not going to come in here. Uh, and it, the most of the sectors which are going to get affected is the one which are already running here with and having issues with manufacturing and sourcing. Anybody else?
Ma'am, we have one question from Parul. I would like
Okay.
to unmute her.
Hi, good evening, ma'am. First of all, thank you for the lovely session, and it was really informative. Hello,
Yeah. Hello.
hello,
Yeah.
ma'am,
Yes,
can you
I can
hear
hear
me?
you, Bal. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So, ma'am, my question is how? How bad will the global how bad will the global economic impact be compared to other recessions?
Okay, this is really going to be bad, is all I can say, because we uh, we haven't come to numbers where we can say, okay, this many lakh, or this is the kind of setback we will have. All I can say that it will be worse than what we had in 2008 globally, and which was a very bad year for all of us across the globe. So it is going to take a step back. Like if you even look at the India's GDP rating, Modi has uh, changed from 6.6 to 5.3, and similarly, it's happening with the other countries as well. It all depends upon the strategies what we take in terms of steps of policy and all. Will determine how fast we'll be able to recover this scenario, but it's going to take time. It is not that in 2 months we will have everything back to normal. Maybe a year
Thank you.
to get back to normalcy.
Thank you, Parul, and thank you, ma'am. We have one question from Vaibhav Sena. Ma'am, will there be
Go ahead.
any impact? Will there be any impact of falling oil prices on Indian economy?
Well, I'm not an expert on that, uh, to be honest, because I work mostly on. So I'm not an economist. So whatever I'm giving is more like uh, as a commoner right now. Uh, well, you can say both, because right now we are not even using so much of oil, and that's the reason the prices are going down to the extent that they've gone into negative. Um, but I don't think so that it's going to have any negative impact on the Indian economy, because we are not the suppliers, we're more of buyers. Um, though our currency is definitely going down, as most of the other countries are, as compared to uh, US. So yeah, I don't think so. It should be having an impact in a negative way. It could be
Okay.
just no impact. But again, I might be wrong, since I'm not an expert on that.
Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am. It was a great, enlightening, and entertaining presentation on the impact of COVID-19 and the behavior of consumers in India and USA. And of course, its impact on the economy, and the primary concern being the job security and the stressed consumers. Ma'am, we owe a special vote of thanks for taking out your time from your busy schedule and being here. We really appreciate that. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, you guys. In fact, for making me come back and get in touch with you and get back to college for you. So thank you so much. It was really great.
Thank you, ma'am. And thanks to all the attendees and the ARC team for making this possible. Thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am.
Definitely, yeah. It was a huge effort from all of you. Thanks.
Yes. Thank you, ma'am.
Bye, guys. Have a pleasant evening and hope to stay in touch with you. Bye.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Bye, ma'am.
Bye.